Opening hook. Let us begin this final module with a simple comparison. Imagine that you started learning the guitar. If you practiced for 8 weeks, would you become a world-class musician? Most likely, no. Real mastery in any skill takes time, patience, repetition, and continued learning. But after 8 weeks, would you know enough to keep going on your own? Yes, absolutely. You would understand the basics, you would have some useful skills, and most importantly, you would have a foundation to continue growing. Meditation works in the same way. This course was never meant to make you finished with mindfulness. In fact, mindfulness is not something you complete like checking off an assignment. It is a lifelong skill. Over the past modules, you have learned what mindfulness is, how attention works, how to work with stress, emotions, thoughts, and daily challenges. These lessons were not the end goal. They were the starting point. So in this module, we shift our focus. Instead of asking, "Did I complete the course?" we ask a more important question: how do I continue this practice in real life? That is what your mindfulness journey is really about, building something that can stay with you beyond this classroom, beyond these lessons, and into everyday life. Reflection. Before we talk about the future, it is important to pause and look back. Think back to Module 1, when we first began. At that time, you may have had certain ideas about meditation. Perhaps you thought it meant emptying your mind. Perhaps you thought it was only for very calm people, or that it required sitting perfectly still for a long time. Maybe you were curious, doubtful, or unsure whether it would help you at all. Now ask yourself, how has your understanding changed? At this point in the course, you have seen that meditation is not about being perfect. It is not about stopping thoughts completely. It is about noticing what is happening in your mind and body with more awareness. It is about learning how to return your attention, how to respond instead of react, and how to treat yourself with greater patience. Also think about what surprised you most. Maybe you were surprised by how often the mind wanders. Maybe you were surprised that even a short practice can change how you feel. Maybe you noticed that mindfulness can happen not only during meditation, but also while walking, eating, studying, or taking a breath before a difficult conversation. This reflection matters because growth is easier to see when you pause and notice it. And as we move to the final idea of this module, this reflection helps you recognize that your journey has already begun. Key takeaway. Here is the most important idea to carry with you. Mindfulness is not a destination. It is a way of living. This means mindfulness is not a place you arrive at one day and stay forever. There is no final moment where you become fully mindful and never struggle again. Some days your practice will feel easy. On other days, it may feel difficult or inconsistent. That is normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is returning again and again to awareness. When we say mindfulness is a way of living, we mean it can become part of ordinary life. It can show up when you take one slow breath before a test. It can guide you when you notice frustration during homework. It can help you listen more carefully to a friend, calm yourself during stress, or become aware of your emotions before reacting. So as this course comes to a close, your practice does not end. In many ways, it is just becoming more personal and more real. You now have tools, experience, and understanding. What matters next is not doing everything perfectly, but continuing to practice in small, steady ways. That is the heart of your mindfulness journey, not reaching an endpoint, but learning to live with awareness, one moment at a time.